So I'm gonna make a video that I probably should have made a long time ago, but I needed some time to prepare myself for summarizing the plot of my story. Now, my story has plot twist and some unexpected moments, so I'm gonna try to do an overview of the whole plot without giving away, well, not the whole plot, but the basic summary, the synopsis of the story without revealing too much. And I feel first I should start with the main characters of my story. Now, Victor Timor is the title character of the story. For a long while, I didn't have a name for the story or the main character, but I was looking on the Latin Google Translate, and I came up with Fear Conqueror that translated to Victor Timor there, and that seemed a good title for my character because he is somebody who conquers fears. Now, in real life, I have a fear of driving cars, whereas he has a fear of flying hot air balloons. I don't remember exactly where I got the idea to include hot air balloons, but I just thought it worked. Not too many stories seem to have hot air balloons be so central, so why not try something new? Now, I feel Victor is much like the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz because he is somebody who thinks he's very cowardly and doesn't feel very brave, but he is a lot more courageous than he really thinks he is, and it shows throughout the series. Now, the next character is Anne, which I spelled AAN because she's based on a friend of mine whose initials are AAN. I thought that's an interesting way to spell that. So Anne the best friend of the main character who happens to have a crush on her, and he feels very protective over her. He doesn't want anything bad to happen to her, but eventually she ends up becoming a lot more brave than him, or so he thinks, and he feels very insecure about that. He doesn't like the fact that she can do all these things with no problem when he's still scared of them. And I got the idea from a picture of my friend who I don't think she would want me to share it here. I asked and she still hasn't answered, so I'm not gonna share that picture here. But she was wearing goggles on her head, screen goggles that work in the story, and I thought that looked a lot like a book character. That picture was the main inspiration for my story. I thought these goggles would work a lot like the visor from with Geordi LaForge from Star Trek: The Next Generation. I try to make this a strictly fantasy thing, but looking through it, I might have some elements of sci-fi in there, but it's more of a fantasy than a sci-fi. Now, Victor's reason for being scared of the hot air balloons was originally going to be that both his parents died in a hot air balloon accident, but I felt that sounds a bit cliche to have both the parents die because we've had lots of that in stories. So I thought, okay, let's change it to just his father because in real life, my own father died of pancreatic cancer, and I was about 2 months old, so it's a bit more relatable to me. And I originally had him live with his uncle, which again is pretty cliched, so I changed it to just his mother. Although his uncle does show up to his house once in a while, but I don't want him to be too involved at first, and you'll find out why when you read my story, which I hope you will. But anyways, the next character is Rarks, whose name I admit is not very easy to pronounce. It's based off Karl Marx's name as well as Rob, the name of somebody I know in real life. He starts out being somebody who Victor does not like very much because he's very controlling and rude and such, but he does help Victor eventually, and he does learn to sort of bend the rules if your life is in danger because he has a very strict code. A very he's very into law enforcement. He does not like when people break the rules. And I originally based this sort of off of people I know who like get so caught up in the rules where when they start defending rules that don't even really make sense. I don't know. I mean, I'm not like the kind of person who doesn't want rules at all. I just feel some rules are just stupid. But anyways, yeah, the main reason for this is that his family history is not so good. It has some criminals in it, and his brother, who I'll get to next, is named Kik. Part of an Arabic word for brother, I think. I don't remember where I came up with all these names, but he's a pirate, and yeah, I did have some influence from Pirates of the Caribbean here, but he's not the main. Well, he's sort of the main villain in the first book, but the whole series, he's not the main villain, and he's not exactly evil, but he's not exactly good either. He doesn't really he'll do good or evil things depending on who will pay him more, so he doesn't really have any allegiance to anyone, but it's just the fact that in the first book he's being paid by the bad guy, so that's why he's an obstacle. Now the next character, Hope, I could say quite a lot about because she's based on a friend of mine who's helped me a lot with this story. I guess the most I can say about her is that she is supposed to be the youngest of the main characters, and because of that, she doesn't get taken very seriously. She does prove herself worthy later on. She does help a lot, but it takes a while for her to get recognized because of her young age. And I thought the relationship between her and Roar would be kind of like Wesley Crusher and Captain Picard from Star Trek The Next Generation, although many people in that fandom didn't like Wesley. I hope Hope will be more well received by my fans than Wesley was by Next Generation fans. Personally, I actually kind of like him, but that's besides the point. Now, the next character is Victor's uncle, Dominus. Now, Dominus is the archetypical mentor figure. He helps the main character along the story. There's not really much to say outside of that. And then Jagast is a friend of Dominus, who used to be very wise and intelligent, but suffered some injuries in a battle that left him a bit impaired, and now he needs help. So that's sort of the ensemble, the main cast, the main good guys with one bad guy. Now the main villain, Prodlin, a combination of a word for traitor and the last name Stalin, so you know who I based him off of. I don't know if I can say much about him without revealing too much, but basically he is like the main villain. He's a dictator type figure and very egotistical, but yet he has a backstory which I probably won't get into in a video, probably in a story, but he does have a pretty bad past that leads him to do the things he does, but he is like the big bad guy. Now, the story, without giving too much away, for the first book essentially is this. Now, this is a universe. I don't know where or when I want this to take place, if it's going to be like an ancient country or like a parallel universe or like an alternate timeline or a different planet or whatever, but basically this is a mythological universe, the type of place where like the Greek myths type things are true, although I'm making the myths myself. I create these gods and such, and in there the gods can only die from two means, either from the power of a different god or a certain sword. Now this sword is what the main characters are after. It's sort of the MacGuffin of the story, and they need to go find it in order to kill Prodlin, because Prodlin is just evil and they need some method of killing him, whereas Prodlin is sending his forces to stop them. That's pretty much all I can give away about the plot without revealing too much about it, but I feel that this combines a lot of elements of very popular stories, and hopefully this will become a success. I hope you guys will be interested in reading it after hearing all this. So yeah, have fun reading it, which I hope you will.